This is the good one. How many of you have any energy vampires in your life? Okay? Someone that works in your office, someone that lives in your house. There are energy vampires everywhere. Some of you might be energy vampires. And maybe now you're going to realize that, oh, maybe that's why people cringe when I walk in the room. But if somebody's an energy vampire, when you feel their teeth grab your jugular vein when they walk in the room. And when somebody does that, I give you permission right now to let them walk out of your life. You need to rid your life of energy vampires. They will not leave on their own, because vampires live off the blood of somebody else. I got rid of many energy vampires in my life. Some of you are energy vampires, I'm just telling you. But you're in process. And most of you become unvampirish. And I am your doctor, so I have to suck it up and handle that. But if you can't recognize when you need to start taking care of yourself and not sucking the life out of somebody else, you're missing that chance to really get to a very important place with your heart, your body, mind, and spirit, because that's what has to happen. So rid yourself of energy vampires. And if I'm one of your energy vampires, I'll take it and deal with it. So many of us go through life holding on to stuff. Things that we either did or didn't do. Things that we have said or didn't say. And there are people in the world that we probably need to say we're sorry to. Whether you like it or not, we've all probably done this. And saying you're sorry is so important. It's so important because it allows us to then let that go, because as you hold on to something that you feel responsible for or that you didn't do, and some of you may have come into my office and having not had a mammogram for 3 years, or knew that there was a lump there and didn't do anything about it. And the first thing I tell you is, it's the first day of the rest of your life. You got to forgive yourself right now, because if you don't forgive yourself, you can't move on. So once you say you're sorry, let it go. Don't bring it up again. Don't ruminate. It's done. And forgiveness. For those people that say they're sorry to you or that need to say they're sorry, you need to forgive them. And forgiveness is something that we do for ourselves, not for somebody else. Forgiveness is something that has to come from our heart to somebody else's soul. And you got to mean it. You got to mean it. And forgiving people for what they've done or not done, I can't tell you how many times I have patients come to the office and say stuff like, oh, my sister-in-law, she just didn't know what to say. Well, of course they don't know what to say. Nobody knows what to say when you have cancer. You know, sometimes people say too much. Other people don't say anything else. But if we knew perfectly what to say, you know, particularly men, do they ever know what to say? I mean, it's like, oh, you know, honey, do these pants make my ass look fat? No, honey, it's your pants. It's not, has nothing to do with the, you know, it's that kind of thing that nobody knows exactly what to say to make you feel better. And if they did, they would say it. You know they would say it. And so sometimes forgiveness is really important through this process, because there were people that wanted to be there but didn't know how to be there. And allowing yourself to forgive also lets you let it go. And self-love. This is that lesson. This is why we have the bowl of hearts. If you don't wake up in the morning and give yourself a big hug every day, you're missing the opportunity to love the most important person in your life. And you wake up and give yourself a big hug. And you've got to love yourself. And this is loving yourself even if you gained 30 pounds over the past year. It means loving yourself even if you ate too much over Christmas. Because if you don't love who you are at this exact moment, you will never get to that next place, because you will constantly be beating yourself up. My friend Pam Peake says you get the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and you walk around shitting all over yourself. Because you should have eaten this, and you should have gone to the gym, and you should have done that. And shitting on yourself is not a good thing. So get rid of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Love you for who you are today. And gratitude. If you're not grateful for the abundance that you have in your life, you miss the opportunity to wake up in the morning and be thankful for the things that are going right. We tend to focus on the things that go wrong instead of embracing the things that go right. And when somebody does something good, you know, if 10 people walked up and said, way to go, attaboy, instead, we kind of let go of the things where people do right and be grateful for it, and we harp on the things that you do wrong. And think about it with your kids. And I'm not telling you to praise your kids and make them little snotty-nosed brats that think they can't do anything wrong. But so many times we harp on the things that are bad, and we forget to be grateful for the things that go right. So gratitude. Gratitude brings more love, because the more grateful you are, the more love you have in your life. And if you're having trouble with the gratitude lesson, get a blank journal. It's a wonderful exercise. And on the front page of the journal, you start every day and you write what you're grateful for. Now, on a bad day, you might be grateful that your kid picked up his clothing and they're not all over the floor. If you're going through chemo, you may be grateful that you didn't have clumps of hair on the shower this morning, or that you didn't get sick from your chemotherapy. But when you start putting together a journal of the things you're grateful for, if you're having a tough day, you can start flipping through it and see all the abundance that you truly have in your life. Now, if you have negative things, I urge you to get a stack of 3x5 cards. Some of you might need a bigger one. But you write the negative things on your 3x5 card, you burn them, you toss them in the trash, you get rid of them. Because if you hold on to the negativity, it holds on to you. So let it go. And some of you might have pink rose quartz hearts. Some of you might not. And I brought a whole bunch here for any of you that don't have them. And if I didn't bring enough, Anne looked at me and she's like, there's only 25 there, you're going to need more. So I guarantee you there are plenty more hearts. But I started a long time ago giving my patients pink rose quartz hearts. And some of you are of the vintage where you got the pink ribbons. Because I thought way back when, I gave $3 to Avon Breast Care and they were giving the money to research. And then I had my epiphany and I'm like, you're not the one that's finding the cure for cancer here, girlfriend. You're the one that's taking care of all these women and men with breast cancer. And so I needed to switch from that pink ribbon to me, which was a sign of cancer, and switch to the pink rose quartz heart, which is a stone of self-love. And so it was very symbolic, and it meant a lot to me to switch away from a symbol of cancer to a symbol of healing. And nothing warms my heart more than knowing that you guys actually care about your pink hearts. Got a phone call, oh my God, 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, I was on call. Service, patient has to talk to you. She misplaced her heart at the beach and her surgery was Monday. And she was beside herself. And her sister actually called me because she was freaked out. So, of course, we replaced the heart, brought it to the OR the next day. She was very happy. Best one, a husband, panicked, lost it on a plane, couldn't find it, couldn't go home, came from the airport to the office to get his crystal because he felt as though he was missing this touchstone, this piece that he needed to have. Some of you may know one of my patients, Mimi, who after her breast cancer and through her chemo, while she was going through chemotherapy, her husband died of a heart attack. And they were so connected. They were such an amazing couple. And she always had her heart in her hand, and Bruce always had his crystal in his pocket. And he'd come back from coaching a football game, and he was going out for a burger and a beer with the guys. And he had had a heart attack suddenly and died. And she could never find the crystal. And she said that stinker took it with him to heaven because it was on him every second of the day. And I told her, I said, someday Bruce will send it back to you. You're going to be somewhere, and you're going to need a sign, and that crystal's going to show up. And so although it may not be a big deal, it's that constant little reminder that if you forget, you can pull it out and remember to make yourself the most important person in your life. So as you thrive, just become centered on self, not self-centered. If I see any Lindsay Lohans, I will tell you about it. Make yourself the #1 priority in your own life. Rid yourself of energy vampires, even if it's me. Annie, except for you. Say you're sorry. And I try this all the time because you know what? I have been known to lose my temper once in a while. And my office knows, they always say, well, if you do, you always say you're sorry. You always get over it and you get past it. Forgive yourself. Be grateful and love yourself. They're important lessons that none of us take enough time to do.